Sound all right? Can you hear it? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
No?
Can you hear me?
Hello, hello.
Hello?
Second. Now is it better?
Hello?
I can hear myself grabbing.
Yeah.
Now can you hear it?
Can you hear me?
Are you laughing at me?
Yeah.
Got no bobby pin.
Can you hear me?
You had a 50-50 chance.
Pretty sad.
Pocket's wrong.
Pockets on it. We can fix that.
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
Morning.
yeah.
Well, it's about that time.
Let me get my pocket a little bit. Looks somewhat presentable. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we ask for your blessing and guidance in the affairs of Sherman County and pray for moisture in the tri-state area. In your name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes, sir. Meeting of the Sherman County Commissioners come to order, please. First 15 minutes is public comment.
You're the only one here to make public comments now. No pressure. We wait.
We wait the whole 15 minutes so that if somebody comes in at 14 minutes, they still have an opportunity. But we can continue.
Well,
Do bills and minutes first.
Bills a minute. Okay. I'll make a motion that we pay the bills in the amount of $130,181.12.
I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. We paid the bills. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
I would like to make a correction on the minutes. In the last paragraph, it talked about Rod building a door, and that would be Rod Butt, not Rod Blake. So that everybody knows who that is. And it's not going to be a door, it's going to be a windbreak to keep from tearing the door off the county health building. That's the only correction I see need made.
I'll make a motion to accept those minutes with the corrections.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. We accept the minutes with the corrections. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. We have a letter here from Northwest Kansas Planning and Development Commission that they're requesting evaluations so that they can calculate dues for the coming year. I'm assuming I would need to sign this. All three of us need to sign it.
I think that's to update their list of commissioners, so Harvey will be on there. Larry, you won't fill out.
Okay.
Update their mailing list.
Okay. And I once again think we shouldn't be a part of that organization, but that's my opinion. I think it's a waste of taxpayers' money. It might be better since Julisa's in there.
I believe Jaleesa is going to be coming in to talk to you guys about whether to renew or not.
Okay. Public comments section is open for another 10 minutes. All of these I'll need to sign by you too, Steve.
Yes, Roberta, please.
I might just bring an observation this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
That Mike and I have property in a couple of other counties, due to parental inheritances, and our property taxes went down in both of those other counties, yet they went up substantially in Sherman County. So we might want to take a look and see why there's a disparity amongst the counties and see what those other counties are doing, see what other counties are doing.
Can you tell us the name of those counties?
Ford and Wallace. So
I would
it might be,
first talk to Rachel and ask her about it because she would have more information than we do at this time. But Ford County has a lot of industry and gas and oil in it, and so does Wallace County. So,
might be the. If I learn anything from Rachel, I'll
okay. Yes, but that would be
bring it back.
the person to talk to first. She can answer questions.
We have property in 2 other counties, and they both went up pretty much in accordance with Sherman County.
And which were those?
Cheyenne and Lincoln. So
So maybe a mix.
I don't know. And we have to consider the topside manor coming on the tax roll. I mean, that all raises our taxes. So
Do you know if that raised it? I think they said that would. I recall that was going to raise taxes an average of $100 per household, something to that effect.
per $100,000 of valuation.
$100,000 of valuation.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours was substantially more than that. So I don't know, that didn't account for very much of it.
Yeah.
I'll visit with Rachel and see if
Okay.
she has some
That would be.
analysis on it.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your, thank you. while you guys are finishing those, we got a letter from Northwest Kansas Planning Development. Says this year they're having their annual supper will be held at the VFW on Main Street in Osborne, Kansas on December 6th, and at the Opera House on Main Street in Atwood, Kansas on December 8th. Both nights will start with a social gathering at 5:30 p.m. and the meal beginning at 6:30 p.m. And they don't request reservations, so if you want to go, you're more than welcome to go. Perfect timing, Steve.
Okay. Mr. Lovelace, please.
Cozy up to the mic. Huh?
Yes, please.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
We had our board meeting last night, so this is fresh news.
Very fresh news. Okay.
So, just a couple of things from the board. They did approve their meeting schedule for next year. We're going to continue with the fourth Wednesdays with an executive or non-executive finance committee meeting at 5, and then the board meeting at 5:45 following the finance. So that's going to continue. So the October finances are in, and we continue to move along with our revenue pretty much at the same rates they've been for the past several months. Just a little bit under budget. It's 3.2 million at a budget of 3.3 million, so just a touch under. Year to date, we're at 31.4 million versus 33.3 for the budget, so just slightly under there. But our contractual adjustments are down. That has to do with our Medicare. We have a receivable from Medicare reimbursements. So that puts us with our total income after adjustments of about 2.2 million against a budget of 1.79, almost 1.8. So we're ahead of budget after the contractual adjustments. And that has to do with that, again, that Medicare adjustment that we get. And that puts us on an annual basis at 18 million versus a budget of 17.99. So I mean, we're like right on budget. So that's been pretty much the case for the year. Overall expenses, we had total. The big one again is still our salaries and benefits of about 800,000 for the month versus 694. And it's a budget. And the reason that was up a little bit this particular month, is we have been paying a quarterly retention bonus carryover from our COVID funds that were received at the end of last year that need to be spent by this year. And they were specifically earmarked from the government for COVID retention. So we've been paying those out to our employees on a quarterly basis. They've stayed here. The last one of those will be paid out this month. It has to be done by 12/31. So the last payroll of this year. That puts us again year to date about 6.5 million versus a budget of 6.9. So we're a little bit under budget on our salaries and expenses there. The benefits piece annually is about 1.8 versus 2 million. And since we're a self-funded plan, that is pretty much what we carry. So we're a little bit, again, better than budget. It's always hard to project. You don't know who's going to get sick and who's going to have what
That's
illness
right.
and whatnot. So but we've been staying on pretty much in line there. That brings us to total operating income for the month of $59,000. So we did make money from operations this month. Year to date, that's get the line back here. Year to date, $466,900, almost $467,000 from operations versus a budget of a negative 214. So we've had a pretty significant swing for the year. And again, a lot of that's been that Medicare adjustment. That pendulum swings back and forth.
Back and forth.
Yeah, they overpay us and they take money away, and then they underpay us and they give money back. And just kind of trying to budget that and stay in the middle of the road the best you can.
It's difficult when they give you the money, then they take it back. That's the hard one because I had the bird in hand and not the bush. So
Yeah, but the way they do it, they don't really come in and take money out of your bank account. They just
don't give you
reduce your reimbursement.
Yes, yes.
So you get paid less.
Didn't Medicare adjust everything up finally this year, though, or its payments on stuff?
So our payment rate is based on our actual costs. So it's really facility by facility how
Okay.
they do it.
Okay.
The overall Medicare didn't go up, but what they did for the bulk of this year did away with the sequestration, which is that 2% that they'd pay us 101% of cost of their approved cost, not
Approved
all
cost,
of
yes.
their approved cost, and then they would take back 2%, meaning you were getting 99 cents on the dollar of approved cost, which means you're losing on their dollars, and hopefully you're making it up somewhere else. Since Anthem is our biggest payer, Blue Cross, and they base their rates on Medicare, guess what? You don't make it up.
Yeah.
So that's what you're referring to. Yes, that was a good part of this year.
Okay.
That has not been permanently delayed. It's supposed to come back into place. So we'll see where we go. Okay. After then we have the 340B and the revenue from the tax revenue brings us to a total bottom line for the month of $167,000 versus a budget of $178,000. Year to date, 1.9 million versus 1.7. So doing well. The EBITDA year to date is 14.97, just by 15%. Our target's always been to stay above 13%. And what that does is allows us to have the money for investments and whatnot. For example, we've got we'll be paid out this month. This in December, we'll be paying out a little over $250,000 for HVAC for just things maintenance ongoing. So that's nice to have that bit that we can reinvest back into the hospital. We did have budget last night, and I actually have presents for you this morning.
Okay.
So this is the 2023 budget, and I've got more detail here, but I think the summary should work for us. It gives us all the main categories. Did I give it to you?
Yeah, I got two.
I think I need one of them.
What did I? Oh, I gave you the wrong thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think this is quite what I'm supposed to have.
Christmas present, huh?
Well, it's like government. You give it, take it back.
There you go.
So, well, that's something I missed reviewing. That's the day's cash on hand. That was the piece I gave you. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
278 cash on hand, you said?
256 is our day's cash on hand.
Okay, that's remained the same as what it was
Pretty constant.
in
It hasn't been much.
October, so, okay.
The daily average expenses has gone up about $1,000 a day. We're at 55,500. I think we were 54,000 and change end of last month. Again, that fluctuates depending on expenses that are paid out. So, all right. So what I've given you in this budget, it's in 3 columns. You've got your year-to-date. That's taking our actuals for the first 9 months of the year, extrapolating that out for the rest of the year projection. So that's our year-to-date column on the left. In the middle is our 2022 budget, what we actually budgeted last year, and then the new budget for 23 is on the right-hand column. So in a lot of instances, we don't really look at what we budgeted last year. We look at what our actuals were and then try to adjust it accordingly. So starting there at the top, you'll see revenue projected for 23 of $39.4 million. Our contractual adjustments of roughly $18.5 million, leaving us a net patient revenue of $20.9 million. You'll see that last year we budgeted that net patient revenue to be 21.4. Our actual is about 20.5, so it's about a $400,000 increase year over year. Not a significant increase. And the reason we're holding firm here, and as I go on a little bit, I'll tell you where we have adjusted for inflation, but we haven't. We don't expect an increase in payments. In other words, last year, Anthem Blue Cross gave us an increase of 0. We expect it to be pretty flat again this year. They're just not going to pay more out. And again, we're not in a position where we can raise prices to get it. Where a lot of businesses can,
Right.
cost what they're. We can't. They tell us what they're going to pay us. It doesn't matter what we charge. This is what we're going to get paid. So that's why those contractual adjustments you can see are almost 50%. Charges get dropped down in the adjustments with insurance. So that leaves us again, like I said, about that $21 million of revenue next year, 20.9. Then we have some other operating revenue, about 200,000, brings us to a total income before expenses of 21.1. We have kept benefits pretty much, or costs pretty much flat. We have built into the salary this year, we've got a 3%. Let me start over. The government year end happened in September 30th. They were sitting at about 8.5% inflation. That's where government is sitting. So we have tried to adjust accordingly. So we've got a 3% increase. So we're giving just a straight cost of living. It's nothing based on performance or anything. It's just cost of living increase scheduled for all of next year. So that's 3%. We decided, and we'll announce it to our employees actually this morning, so you're hearing before they do.
They might be hearing it now.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's no secret. So that 3% is going to go in effective first payroll in December. So they're going to get about an extra that 3%. Then we have in the budget 3% merit increase scheduled for July, and then we'll have to see where we are, but potentially another 3% cost of living adjustment. So all in, if you take those, about 9%, staying pretty close with cost of living with inflation. So that's kind of our plan, as we'll kind of ease it in over the year. Just in comparison, this last year, 2021, we did a salary review, an adjustment based on our peer group and where others are being paid. And in January, we did an up to 10%. We capped it at 10. Not everybody got that, but if you were out of whack. Then in July, throughout the year, we did our 3% merit. In July, we did another 10% adjustment. And now with this 3%, you add it all up, our lower level employees get 26% increase. And you can see that. Our first adjustment back in January took our minimum wage from 10 something up to $12. In July, we took it up to 15 for the non-clinical and 16 for the clinical. I mean, right there is a 25% increase for the majority of our entry-level employees. So We've done a pretty good job this year of getting wages in line and trying to keep up with it. So I know every business in the community and frankly nationally has been having to do the same thing, but I think that's pretty well that we've been able to manage that salary budget and keep our numbers going up. Overall, then, we did build in a factor in our operating expenses of about 4%. So not quite in line with inflation, but we feel like we need to do that to try to keep our costs in line because we don't have necessarily a revenue increase. So go down to the total operating or total expenses. About 20.5 million was what we had for this year, and next year we're projecting 21.0, just 21 million. And that gives us a total operating income of 149,890 for next year. Again, the budget for this past year was a negative 257. Our actual is projected to come in about 254. So that's a $400,000 swing from $500,000 swing from budget to actual. But then for this next year, another increase of about 149,000. When I didn't make a copy for you, but on our capital budget this next year, we have expenses that we're already putting in that will have a little over $1 million. So you can see we'll eat that profit right
Real
up.
quick.
Yeah, we'll exceed that. So we'll have to use some of the cash we already have, and that's pretty common. And, if we made $1 million this last year, and we're basically reinvesting it all this year. Where our days cash on hand stays pretty flat because we're pretty much reinvesting every bit of the profit. So going on down our 340B for the year, we just kept it right in line with what we had. So this year we're projecting 1.4, next year 1.4, exactly the same. Our tax revenue, you can see on there, about 689 for last year. We projected at 661 just based on the information we've received from here. So pretty flat. And that gives us then again that total operating revenue of 2.2, and then with the other expenses are tied in there, a total net income for the year projected to be 1.9. And you'll see that'll give us an EBITDA of about 12.8, so pretty close to that 13% target. One of the items you'll see on the budget, it's built into the other expenses, but we've actually put the board approved last night a $75,000 basically to look at what do we need to do on the building. I think I've shared with you before. We've got the building's getting older. We've got $1 million to put a new roof on, probably $8 to $10 million to do some work in the physical plant. Start getting up there. We're starting to wonder, is it makes sense to continue to try to maintain this building or to look at something more efficient and new? So we've got a $75,000 piece in there to really dig into that. As one of the board members put it, if you don't get to the starting line, you don't ever get started. So, that's a multi-year project to look at that. We know that involves the county, it involves our entire community, and we got to figure out how we're going to do that. So we'll be focusing on that early this year, trying to make some plans. So we may be back to you for a request, because obviously that's something we don't want to do in a vacuum. We want to work with planning and with the county as a whole. Probably have to involve the city as well, because there's some streets and whatnot that could be impacted.
Okay.
That's a real quick overview of the budget, but this is your 2023 budget for the next year. Any questions I can answer on that?
Besides the maintenance of the building or anything, are you looking at any new equipment to update?
Yeah, let's go through that list. That might be a good place to start. And I can I didn't leave this with you. I didn't make a copy of this for you, but One of the top item, well, we'll just read them in order, not necessarily in the order we'll purchase them, but in the order. One of the first things we're going to purchase, there's a Lucas CPR device, which basically in a situation where you have a code, it replaces
Strap it onto the
it
patient.
replaces the manual person. It frees us up to give us another body to be doing other things, while this device will keep the heart going in the case of a code. So that's a pretty important device we have. It's pretty much manual right now, so this will help us there.
What is it?
It's about $21,000 for that one. So, why don't I just leave this with you? But let's go through it, and then you can.
Okay.
Leave it. So the Omnicell, which is our medical dispensing basically piece. It's for patient safety. It tracks everything, and so when an order is put in, it goes into the cell. It'll only let the drawing nurse pull out
what?
limited to what the order is, so it's some protection. It verifies dosages, and so it's really a pretty good thing. We bought that this year, but it already needs an upgrade on the software, so there's another $28,000 that'll go into that. We've got we're just later in the year, fourth quarter purchase, looking at a cleaning system, about $10,000. We do have a piece of the clinic roof on here for $300,000. That's not the whole building; that's just the clinic side. We've got to upgrade our chiller. That's about $120,000. Replacement of a 1972 boiler, so it's well past its life expectancy, but it's still working. We figure that may be going. We got $500,000 for that. And then we've got some things for the specialty clinic, the Olympus monitor, which is some eye things, about $8,400. Electrocautery used in the surgery area to seal up surgical wounds and whatnot. About $13,000. I'll talk about the Lucas device. And then just some other things for procedure rooms, some chairs, basically. Exam chair. Those are not cheap. That's $10,000 just for one of those. So,
It has medical written next to it.
yeah,
So
if you put the word hospital in your purchase order,
there you go.
you just add a zero or more.
So on your roof, I mean, is there any chance insurance will help with any of that?
So we, frankly, at the other hospital that I run in Atwood, we actually had this last year. We brought the insurance company out to take a look because no one storm caused the damage, but they could find over the life of the storm there had been enough damage. So they actually did pay for it. We tried that here, and they said, no, you haven't had any real identifiable hail damage that we can say that caused this. So the answer is no.
How old is that roof? Do you know?
I don't know the exact. I know Kent tells me it's well past its life.
Well, I guess I know some of the hailstorms that we've had here, and I have to question that. I mean,
we've had some, like the last hailstorm we had this last summer,
Mm-hmm.
we had some minimal damage related just to that storm, and that was repaired.
Okay.
But the overall roof, we have not had a total roof loss. So.
Okay.
Yeah. The difference in the two roofs that I was talking about, the one up in Atwood has a membrane, so they could actually see where the
Okay,
the
that
dimples.
hit.
We have gravel and tar here.
are you gonna at the 300,000? Are you gonna switch over to a membrane type?
I'm not
roof?
sure what they're going to be doing on that. What type of roof they use that? There's pros and cons with that membrane roof.
Sure.
So I have no idea why we build flat roofs.
I've wondered that. Well, I know why they do it out here. When they do it, it's because it's expensive. You know, a flat roof is so much easier to just slap up. But why you would do it, you know, we're like in New Mexico. They have a lot of flat roofs, but they're in an arid climate,
Yeah.
and but they don't get the snow either. And that's the snow and cold cause a lot of problems
They
when
do.
we get it.
They do. So we have spent a fair amount of money this year on roof repairs, and and the clinic has been the worst, and that's why we've got that replacement of that section. And this is back to that earlier conversation about what do we do? Do we keep trying to maintain and fix, or do we actually replace at some point?
So this replacement of 300,000, that's going to be the same roof as what's on it?
Yeah, it would be in line with what they've got there, right?
I know, like at the Elks, we had a company come in and they put foam, like slab foam, and then actually it's raised in the middle. Now the water runs off, and then a TPO roof on it.
Yeah, and yeah, I've seen that, and I'm not enough of an expert. I that's why I hire people that know these things. So maybe we'll call you up to consult.
I just,
There you go, Larry.
I just know we got rid of all of our leaks and problems.
He's gonna
when we did
retire,
that.
right?
Yeah.
No, I have heard of things like that, and that makes perfect sense. And I'm certain that when we do this, the engineers will be involved.
Sure.
Make that
Okay.
appropriate, because just to keep throwing up the same old thing, is that the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yep. Exactly.
So anyway,
Okay.
if you guys would like this, I can leave it with you.
Okay.
That's really it. So that's what's going on. You've got all the latest news, you've got the budget, you've got salary increases, and generally the hospital's doing pretty well right now.
We have a fairly large amount of patients in for a while.
Last week we were up to 10 for a good part of the week. We do have licensed for 25 beds, but we staff to 12. So we get much beyond that. But our average census, that's on this report here, our average census is staying right around, the daily census for October, for example, was 3.58. Year to date, we're running about 3.83. So that right around 4 patients is pretty much our average. Yeah, we did get up to just last week. We were a little over 10 patients. We had 9, 10 in there, and over the weekend it dropped down to 3 again, and then yesterday it was up to 5. So we're staying pretty close to that right now.
Okay.
The clinic visits are staying at about on track to hit between 14 and 15,000 this year, which is a pretty good increase year over year. Specialty visits for October were 245, and then our total ERs for the year is already at 2,100 for the year. So our average in the ER year to date is about 7 ER visits a day. So it has picked up.
Okay.
Our contract with SYL or whoever that's working
Sly,
out.
that's
Yeah.
we just renewed that. That was one of the things I did present to the board last night. The renewal. They're on an October 1 schedule.
Okay.
Is when their renewal is. So we've just signed last night or yesterday a contract with them for this next year. Plus has 3 1-year renewals built into it. So they're going to be in place. They've done a great job, and they've really brought the level of care in our ER up significantly. It helps when you have a consistent group and not constantly having to hire
Rotation
the
of other
travelers.
people in it. Are there 4 people in the group now, or is there still just the 3?
There's 3 main ones, but they have expanded their business into, for example, I know they're in Burlington now.
Okay.
Of course, we brought them on with Atwood a couple years ago. So, and they've got some other hospitals in Colorado that they're expanding to. So, one of our main people here is probably going to switch. I was informed yesterday is probably going to move over to Burlington to kind of head that one up. And we've got another one coming in. So, Steve, Swan, and Jeff, Tom have been our main 3. I think Tom's going to move over to bringing a gal by the name of Lisa. I haven't met her yet. And so we'll have still those 3 core ones here. And then there'll be rotation. You all know Paul Young and Brian from they were here and went over to start Atwood, and they rotated in. There's a lot more volume here, so they like to do that to keep their skills. It's like they'll occasionally take shifts in a Denver ER.
Yeah,
To really.
eye-opening.
So, all right. Anything else I can answer for you this morning?
No, I think we're good. Thank you for bringing the update and bringing the updated budget. Keeping us informed, and that way we know that we got to look at care and upkeep of that building.
Yeah, it's becoming a real concern for me, and I know Kent keeps coming and saying we got to take care of this. And I know, but yeah. So we'll look at the bigger picture and see if there's something more we need to do. That again, that's a multi-year project. That's not something you snap a finger and start digging a hole and build.
There you go.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The judge is going to come up. We'll cheer that out now. Should we be worried?
I have the worry right here.
Absolutely. It's never a good sign. How are you guys
Good.
Earlier I met with you to talk about whether or not we
You got to get closer to the mic.
Earlier we talked about whether or not you would be interested in increasing the juror pay for next year.
They can't hear you yet. Can you turn that mic up? What?
Turn it up. I can
And you can bite on it.
bite on it. Earlier I spoke to you all about the possibility of trying to increase payment for jurors. Currently what we've done is paid a limited amount for the first day, just people who show up, and then beyond that try to increase it to something that would be a little more substantial. The reason for that is what triggered it. That we had a big murder trial scheduled in February or end of January, and if you have people sitting in for a couple weeks, it's hard to expect them to be there if they're not getting paid at least enough to cover some of their bills. So I believe Brett had prepared a proposed resolution.
Yes, that is correct.
I'd ask for you to at least consider that. I can say that when I came in last time, it was my expectation that there was little question in my mind that we were going forward with it, and that it was going to be setting the county back substantially, somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000. Here's your early Christmas present. If things are correct, there will be a plea entered on Monday, and those expenses will go away. And so with that, if you want to give me a $200,000 raise, I'm perfectly good.
Well, we've got two guys coming in that will raise you up for a little while.
On second thought, maybe that's not really what I'm interested in. But
Okay, what do jurors currently get?
currently what we have done in the past is we had paid them like $15 or $10 or $15 to come in, plus mileage for the first day. Now that would be anywhere from 40 to 180 or 190 people who would go into the initial jury pool. Now, those I don't have a problem with paying their $10 in their mileage or $15 in their mileage, because that they come, they do their service, and they're out of here. And that's not a big concern. The concern were the between 12 to 14 who would actually make it on the jury pool and would have to sit and hear the hearing case. We'd normally have a trial in which it would last 2 to 3 days. Well, those folks were getting paid, I think, $25 a day, which is a little low. It's a lot low, but for a day or two, maybe that's a civil duty as well. Where I ran into a real moral dilemma, and I think you guys need to be aware of it. If you pull somebody off the street and stick them in there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to hear, that causes an incredible financial burden on them. And they've got, it's nobody's running or going to be on the jury because they really love the concept. They're doing it because of their own sense of patriotism and willingness to serve their community. The least we could do, in my estimation, is not have them get a financial whack, for lack of a better term, for doing their duty. And so I have had them increase it in Wallace and Cheyenne County. I don't know what east of here they're doing, but I suspect that this would be what they're at. So that's what I'm asking for. If you're willing to do it, I'd hope that you would consider voting to increase the juror pay. If not, well, then
We'll
the
give
next-
you a raise
then
and
the
then you can
next
write
time-
checks.
Then the next time I bring them in, I'll give them each your home phone number. And,
Well, they already have mine.
Well, I know, and I'm sure they'd be calling. But at any rate.
I will
that's
make a
the
motion to adopt resolution 22-13 to increase the fees for the jurors to $50 per day, $25 per half day.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. We accept resolution 22-13. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion is passed. Well, you carry big influence, sir.
Well, I thought giving you a couple $100,000 break might have helped it a little
That
bit.
helped quite a
It
bit.
might have helped it.
That really surprised me that
It did me too, and it's not done yet. See you on Monday, sure. But
Yeah, maybe
Fingers
Medicare,
crossed.
you'll be coming back, clawing that
then
back.
I'll be. Well, if it falls apart, I won't be coming back. I'll just let you read about it in the paper.
Okay.
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mersch, are you our topside updater?
So they're all supposed to be here.
They're all supposed to be here, so if we can wait for, okay. Well, we had to at 8:45.
They sent me deals in 9, but
Well,
I came early.
Steve, do you want to talk about the trees and grass?
okay, yes, someone, resident, had me come down to the Smoky Gardens and take a look at some stuff. Of course, with it being so dry, the grass is nil, and, we can handle some of that by simply not cutting the grass quite as short. That one, but they got a line of trees just right above the road that you could see that the deer are coming down and doing some damage to it already, and we haven't hit the real hard winter yet. And looking for suggestions of what we can do to protect them young trees by maybe getting some more of those totes, taking the plastic liner out of them and putting them around the trees to help protect. That would probably be the least expensive way to do it, and fairly feasible on trying to get them. And I would have to do a count of how many trees there are there, but and then look at maybe possibly planting some new trees in the playground area where those large cottonwoods, some of them are starting to show a little decline, and plant some new trees to start getting something growing so that we can keep the shade, if possible, down there.
Well, this is the first year I ever remember that they didn't hay that bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing there.
Hmm.
So, kind of tells you how dry it's been down there, but
I know they're looking at, or the caretaker down there, he was watering some of the trees down there on the bottom to help them along, but might look at trying to put a drip system in to help protect those trees and dig a little small trench to.
is there a hydrant up above on those
There's a
trees?
hydrant. There's a couple of hydrants up above that we can.
That'd be a good idea in the spring to put a drip system in like a time or something on them.
Yeah, so may, and do that too. But we need to start looking at that to get that in to where we can, get it buried just enough below the ground that the mower can go across it and mow.
Right.
He's been doing a good job of keeping it cleaned up, but moisture is the biggest issue. If we can get some moisture, the grass is going to come back a little better.
I talked to Pat Fitzgibbons yesterday. They're ready to put the stuff on the pole down there, and they were going to try to do it today if they could find a bucket truck. They had got a hold of a couple people to try to get a bucket truck. He said if not, they'd try to do it next week, but they're ready to go. They just got to get access up on the pole. So hopefully within a few days that'll all be taken care of.
Okay.
So
That's what update are looking at on the Smoky.
okay.
The gentleman was concerned about the floating dock of the weights out there on the end of securing it. Someone might, if they fell in, they could hit their head, but I'm not real sure of how else we can. I know I walked part way out there, and when that dock moves under my big feet, I decided to go back to the firm ground. So, but
I know the Coons family put it in. I talked to Lonnie, and I think he's got some aluminum strips, like bars. He's going to bolt on both sides and make it solid so that they don't do this, because that is kind of a dangerous feature.
It's a nice feature, but it needs to be a little. And if they've got some plans for that, that would be great.
I'll visit with him again when I get a chance, see when he might. Okay. Because we talked about earlier, and he's going to try to solid that up so it'd be more rigid. That way, it won't be quite so dangerous, maybe. So, okay.
We're here. Come on.
Do we have more, or is it
Ron is Wallace.
okay?
Come on up, grab a microphone.
Slide another chair. There's plenty of chairs up there. Just please, whoever's doing the speaking, get close to the microphone.
So I'll start off with my taxes. I only had 2 parcels increase in Sherman County. And compared to Wallace County, I had all my parcels increase. So Topside was a instigator for the increase, I'm sure. But we feel like we've done a great job with the first year, or the first. How many months have we been open? Since July, so 6 months. We just wanted to give you an update on how we are and what we're doing. And Kim Hernick is our new administrator. Chris Crocker was with us for 3 years. Healthcare has burnt him out, and he is heading to Manhattan to do construction with his brother. So he will be his last. I don't know if he's still in our community. I don't know if he's actually left or not. But anyway, Kim is the replacement, and we're excited to have her on board. So.
Great.
Congratulations.
She was on board before Chris announced his change, so she kind of had a rolling start at this too. So.
Oh, okay. Great.
Well, basically, we just want to give you guys a quick update. Jennifer kind of did that. Also, I think in the budget, you guys have some money left in the Topside fund. Request that. You guys always like to know what money is being used for. During the months of July, August, and September, we had 2 buildings.
The old facility and the new facility.
Yep.
Just the utilities. Well, in August, the old campus, which we weren't in anymore, in August, the electricity bill was almost $2,800. So $1,900 in September. So new campus is slightly higher.
Yeah.
So we were having to fund utilities on both buildings at the time. Good news is we kept the old building for a couple months, so you guys didn't have to worry about that for a couple months.
Yeah.
So we'd like to ask for that rest of that money. I think it actually says roughly $3,500. Is that correct?
Not a problem.
Do we need to make a motion to?
Make a motion to issue this $3,500 to Topside Manor.
I'll second that.
Hold on. Do you want remaining amount in that fund or specifically
You
3,500?
want just
Whatever you,
Remaining.
I would do
just
the
the
remaining,
remaining?
balance.
Do I hear a second to his
Yeah, I'll
motion?
second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. We return to Topside Manor the remaining balance of the budget for them. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed.
Great, appreciate that. Appreciate you guys, all your help to get this project up and going. Okay, any questions?
Is, whenever you do anything new or remodel or anything, is the building meeting up with our expectations of everything that got done properly? I hear Jennifer chuckling.
Funny thing, none of us thought of storage for Christmas items. So we have no storage for Christmas items in our facility. We forgot about maybe a
Basement somewhere or
Yeah.
a storage unit.
storage room. So that's, in all of our planning, we didn't think of
Okay.
storage.
There is a few problems.
They're being addressed by the contractors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing that keeps us from operating where we need to be. So just things that need to be fixed is when you move into a new building, there's always something you have to work
Mainly
with.
cosmetic type stuff, but they had a lot of trouble with lock sets. Call this morning, and the factory guy's gonna come out on that. Gale. Lock cut. So, check out the old one.
Christmas is coming, huh?
Yeah. And some of the other stuff, I got a call this morning, and they said that they would be, they asked me if it'd be all right to wait till after the year. Stuff that they're coming to, cosmetic type stuff, just they wanted to wait till after the year, Christmas decorations and stuff up. They have to go scaffold in the front area there. I told them just wait till after.
Okay.
y'all doing okay on staffing?
Staffing is always an issue.
Yeah.
So we actually currently have just hired 5 additional, and we're getting ready to start a CNA class, so that will help us tremendously. And then we're looking for director of nursing.
Any be out there,
Yep.
send them our way. So,
Are the beds all full right now, or
Yes, we
Okay.
are full.
got a waiting list probably?
We do have a nice waiting list.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think the only problem we really have is staffing. I think that's gonna be ongoing.
That's going to be an ongoing
Yeah.
situation until, while you're doing the CNA classes, because you got to grow your own a lot of
Yeah.
times.
Yep.
All right, sounds good.
I greatly appreciate it.
Okay,
Well, thank you.
congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
promotion.
Yep.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
You betcha. Thank you.
And have a Merry Christmas.
You guys do.
Seems impossible. Christmas is almost here again.
Well, Judge Showalter, that really surprised me when I talked to him last.
Yeah.
Rachel coming down on the, okay. So we have a contract here which, with Kimball Mapping. This is for the 2023 GIS mapping maintenance, and it has here that the fee will be $10,200 for the year for the services provided. And note here that Brett has gone over the contract and looked at it and approved that it's okay. So I would entertain a motion to,
That's pretty much an annual contract. I mean, since
yes,
they went to that Kimball mapping, it's pretty
Yes.
much always the same, isn't it? We just renew it every year. Okay. Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept that.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded that we accept the Kimball mapping contract for 2023. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed. And Rod Rudder's coming in at 9:30 to. Okay. I'll look at the mail here.
Lose your opener.
Yeah.
Here.
Thank you.
Good shot.
You have an opener too, Rod? Mine's,
I do.
Larry's is now broke.
Hey, it was broke earlier.
Thank you. This is Sherman County landfill through Milco.
I need to give those to Rod when he comes in.
Two different permit numbers. Qualified monitor report for Sherman County landfill.
Come on up, Rod.
Come on up, Mr. Rod.
Grab a mic. Get right up close. Yell into it. What exciting news have you got today?
Well, they got a used mower with very little hours on it, just like new out there. That John Deere they called me about. Saved quite a bit.
Get a little closer to the microphone, please. Thank you.
Now this is
Because
for
the
this.
one for the Smoky down there in the cemeteries is just shot.
This is how big of a,
The
60.
Hustler.
We can't go any bigger than 60 because we can't get through the headstones in the cemetery.
okay.
Is it a rear discharge?
Yep. I'm gonna save about probably $3,000 as getting the new one there. And I mean, that one's only got 30 hours on it. It's just like new.
Not even broke in.
Yeah.
90.
The other one, the engine shot in it, the hydrostats, it wouldn't even hardly pull itself up on the trailer when we brought it to town a while back. So we'd have to put a lot of money in it.
Just a deer.
9,500 out.
It's a used Hustler.
Hustler. Okay. Super Z.
Well, that kind of hours, it can't be hurt.
What, you got that 18 horse Kawasaki in it? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
I bet it's bigger than 18, isn't it?
About 25.
It's got the Kawasaki
23.
in it. Yeah, but it's a good mower. I went and looked at it. It's just like new. I mean, there ain't no scratches on it. I mean, it's just like new still. And we're
Yes.
going to have one eventually or to mow everything.
What is there? That money would come out of the Smoky Garden budget then?
I didn't have to, I guess.
Is there money in that budget at this time?
9,500.
Yep.
I was thinking I saw one for around 14 or 15.
Well, I think when we got those bids earlier this year for a new one, our price was around 12 and a half.
Yeah.
As early this year, probably they're 13
Yeah, when I
now,
brought those ones in earlier this year.
because nothing gets any cheaper. Was this your recommendation that we do this?
Well, yeah, I think so. It's going to save money and it's just like new. And we got to have one.
And
Keep the cemeteries and everything mowed.
that's a good, they're a sound, solid
Oh,
mower.
they are.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid or the quote from John Deere for the used Hustler.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded, we accept the bid from John Deere for the used Hustler. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
And I guess gonna need to sign the papers for the bridge, new bridge they did out there. For the,
That's all done, right?
yeah, it's all done. I think you might have them.
Yeah, I have them here.
But we've got to pay it, and then they reimburse us. So,
Okay, and you got the money for that? How much is the payment?
that's,
And we'll get all this back?
well, not quite. I mean, our share is,
It's a cost sharing, that's what I.
yeah, it ain't much though.
So the total cost,
$20-some thousand. I think we'll have to pay for the whole thing. The rest of it, the state pays.
so the whole total cost $198,570. So
Okay, well, this is with Penco's engineering and everything, it was 231,000.
Right.
okay.
This one right here, just with everything, the engineering. Basically, the engineering fees, they'll pay like $2,000 of that, and the rest of it we have to pay, and that's all we should have to pay out of that.
Okay.
Once it, because we'll get reimbursed for
That's
the
your
rest.
Milco reports for the landfill.
So you want a motion to pay that then, correct?
I guess we'll have to. It's
Yep.
hard.
It's already built.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we discussed this earlier, so. And who do we pay here then?
As far as that, I don't know where it goes to.
Probably
Do you
L&M.
know where it
Probably
goes to? Might have to call Gerald and ask him.
Okay.
Does this all come from Gerald Penco?
And we'll be paying this 231. Okay.
Right, and then you get first.
I'll make a motion. We pay the $231,070.60 for the new bridge. It's been installed on Road
71
71. Yeah, 71 and 5 is that?
between 3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded that we pay the bill to probably Penco Engineering or the
Yeah.
other.
I don't know for sure. I mean, he can tell you where it goes. I bet
Okay.
it goes to this,
L&M contractor.
yeah, that L&M contract,
Okay.
and then you have to file,
With the state,
Penco gets our money
Okay.
back.
with L&M contractor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Hey, you guys are on 5 day a week since Thanksgiving, correct? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Anything else exciting going on?
I know. Doing a lot of prairie dogs right now.
I'm going to ask you about that. Is there
I saw we bought a bunch, $4,000
Yeah, we're
worth
gonna
of.
have to buy some more. We're going through it fast.
I would imagine.
think they're worse since it's dry out?
I don't think so. A lot of them around.
Yeah. Any special place that's really concentrated? Any direction in the county here?
Right now, we're west, but there's a lot east too. Yep.
Well, yeah, probably have-
Being so dry, about everybody's been poisoning prairie dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't much else to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have a little moisture before we can do very much on them roads, so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, travel back across, but it's just the dusty.
Yeah.
Make it worse.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
All righty.
thank you.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Go by long.
Short break.
I think we're
I think we're done.
Okay, well then, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
I will so move.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is